Now that you've learned a little bit about foundation walls, I'm going to show you how to draw them in. So the first thing we need to do is go to our elevation view. I'm going to choose north elevation because east doesn't quite show everything we need to. So make sure you choose north. And based on the design specs, it said that the foundation had to be 4 feet below the crawl space. So we're going to need to edit this, and hopefully you've already done that. But that should be 4 feet 10 3/4 or 0.75. And top of footing, then we don't actually need. So, and I believe I showed you that in the other document as well. So we can click on this and then click the delete key, and it says it's going to be deleted. Yes, that's fine, because top footing is actually where the foundation level is. As far as bottom of footing, you're going to need to look at the design spec sheet that's actually after we draw the foundation walls, and set this elevation by editing this value according to the appropriate height of that footing wall. So make sure that you do that before you draw your footings. We're not going to worry about that now. I'm just going to show you how to draw the foundation wall. You'll apply the same principle for drawing the footing wall after you edit this. So we're going to go back to 3D view, and I'm going to actually look at it from the bottom, and I'm going to change this just to consistent colors here. I'm going to hide my category of floors so I can see these walls here. It makes it go a little bit easier. So now I need to create that wall. Hopefully you've done this. Creating the wall, we're going to have to edit this and duplicate it. And it should have been an 8-inch foundation wall. And then we needed to insert 2 more layers. One above the boundary, one below the boundary. And the thickness of this, again, was only 8 inches, so I'm going to edit that to 8 inches. And the thickness of each of the insulation, so you'd have to change your material to rigid insulation. It is not a structure, it's a thermal, so make sure you change your function to thermal. So I'll let you go ahead and do that, and then make sure you have the thickness based on the Habitat specs. I'm just going to put 1 inch for now. Make sure yours is set to Habitat specs. So I'm not sure if it's 1 inch or not. You're going to have to double check on that. Then I'm going to click OK. Now that I've created my wall, I need to adjust the base constraint and top constraint. Sometimes it has a problem going from foundation up to crawl space, so I'm going to just do foundation unconnected. And I know that that's a 4-foot distance, so I'm just going to do it a 4 foot. If yours works to top constrain it to the crawl space, go for that. But I was getting an error when I tried that. Next, we need the location line. We want the concrete to be lined up with the outside edge of this wall. So the concrete, if you did this correctly, you did it the same way I did, you see the concrete is in the core boundary. Make sure the concrete's in the core boundary and that the insulation is outside of the core boundary. And here is why, because you can do it based off core face exterior. So if I do a location line core face exterior, and do the rectangle tool, when I click on that, notice that there's a little bit outside of that wall there. That's because that's the 1 inch, in my case, of insulation. And so I'm going to bring it all the way down to here. Again, you click and hold the scroll wheel and drag to get to that exact spot. Or sorry, to move it. And let's see. Trying to get to snap. There we go. And now we should be good on that. So I'm going to click Modify. I'm going to go back so that I can see this. And now you can see that my floors are still hidden. So I'm going to click the light bulb, right-click floor, unhide that category. And what I have now is this insulation that's sort of showing the outside. So let me just show you the section view. And you can see that it is lined up. Go to thin lines. The concrete is lined up with the outside edge of this wall. And then I have a couple layers of insulation in here. And after that, you're going to have to add, or first adjust your bottom of footing elevation according to the design specs, and then create a new wall for the footing that meets the design specs as well. Then draw it the exact same way that we drew this one. When you draw the footing wall, though, you shouldn't have to hide anything because you can center it. The footing wall will be centered. You can center it right on this wall. So make sure that you have your footing wall drawn in there as well according to the design specs. You should be good to go.